Good morning. Welcome to worship with the community of Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, where compassion leads us to work for justice and equality. My name is Reverend Frieda Gillespie. I'm the interim minister here, which means I'll be here for 2 years as your minister. I'm glad you are joining us for our virtual service today. It is my hope that this gathering will renew your sense of community and connection and nourish your heart, mind, and spirit. Thank you to our worship leader, Carol Kappa, and our technology helpers today, Carolyn Nixon, Amy Stubbs, and Cindy Fountain. And of course, Dr. Yuki Kumamoto, our wonderful pianist. If you would like to show your gratitude as well, you can click the clapping icon inside Zoom. Westside is a community of many beliefs, genders, and sexualities, a community of diverse cultural, racial, class backgrounds, a community of varied abilities and gifts. Some find inspiration in the great books, others in the great outdoors, and still others in great conversations. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into this community. If you are so moved, you can try out the chat feature on Zoom by typing in some words of welcome to both members and visitors who are joining us this morning. On behalf of this church community, I also say to all, welcome. Today's order of service is a PDF. A link was provided via email and will also be posted in the chat for you to download. Most important is simply the opportunity to be present and connect together as the Westside community. So don't worry if you don't have the order of service. We won't leave you behind. As always, please continue to watch your email inbox, the church website, and our Facebook page for updates on church programs and opportunities. You can also stick around after our service ends today if you would like to join us for a virtual coffee hour. I invite you to take a deep breath now. And from wherever you are, settle into this sacred space that we all create together each week. Now, let us worship together as we listen to this morning's prelude. Our opening words this morning are from Marta Valentine. We pause this morning from the chaos of the world to reclaim the beauty within these walls that carry us through our week. We lift this community onto our shoulders with pride and grace-filled expectations for our children and our children's children.
Feel free to join in lighting your own chalice as I share these words by Wendy Bartell and Lynn Gardner. From our separate joys and struggles, we come here to find the peace of balance and to find the blessing of restlessness. All are welcome to follow, to lead, to teach, to learn. All are welcome to join in the dance, to catch our breath. All are welcome to give generously, to receive gratefully. All are welcome if we are steady and composed, if we feel completely lost, if we don't know what we are feeling. This community has a place for us. Here we matter and we are loved. If you are steady and poised, if you feel completely lost, if you don't know what you feel, this community has a place for us. We matter. We are loved. Our Chalice Lighting song this morning is number 362, Rise Up, O Flame. Tricia and Carolyn sing it through twice.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, rise up, O flame, show thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Carolyn and Tricia. I invite you to join our children in reciting the affirmation.
Love is the doctrine of the church. Quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace. Seek knowledge and freedom.
To serve others in community.
To the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation.
Thus do we covenant with one another.
Our opening hymn is number 131, Love Will Guide Us, brought to us from the UU Church of Elgin. Earlier this morning, our children and youth and religious education teachers celebrated our annual in-gathering on Zoom, designating the start of Westside's new RE year. The Children's Religious Education, or CRE Committee, is excited for the new year that will be like none before. For our Time for All Ages this morning, they hope these words and these pictures will help inspire us all to continue to be the light.
I am so grateful to be a part of CRE at Westside. I have loved being a teacher.
My name is Lane Craig, and this is my short video about what Westside Children's Religious Education means to my family. My family and I have been attending Westside since 2012. For us, CRE classes and activities have given my children strong relationships, not only with friends their own ages, but also with caring, trusted adults. When my daughter Alice was in kindergarten OWL, one of her projects was to draw a caring circle of trusted adults, in addition to her parents, that she should turn to when she had a problem or a question. I'll never forget the next year when I received a phone call from another church friend who had given Alice a ride home from school. Alice had been worried about something that happened at school that day, and she had shared her concern with this trusted adult, who then shared with me some important information that I needed to act on. It gave me a great sense of validation and gratitude that we had chosen to help our kids build relationships with people at Westside who would be confidants and advocates for them. As my children get older and I see middle school and high school looming, I'm even more grateful to know that I can take steps to provide them with role models and allies among the volunteers and staff they encounter through CRE at Westside.
Why is Westside CRE important to me and my family? Well, Westside is our village. Westside is our people. I've never been more proud to claim a village, to pick a village and support a village that has worked so hard to make our space the safest place possible for children. Thank you to all the people that make that happen. Thank you to the kids for making it so much fun. It takes a village to raise a child, and I sincerely appreciate everyone in this village of ours that's helped me raise our children. I'm so grateful for this community.
I think CRE is important because it allows the children and families of Westside to stay connected to one another. I also think CRE is important because it allows our kiddos the opportunity to learn more about what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist.
I think one of the greatest things about CRE is that it is a safe and happy place for the youth to be themselves and express themselves. They can build relationships with one another and their leaders. They can expand, explore, share ideas. It's all about the connection, and I love that. And CRE is fun. It's something you can put on the calendar and anticipate with joy. And right now, we all need that more than ever.
Hi there, I'm Fernando Pargeter Villarreal. I am a member of Westside CRE Committee and a facilitator for the middle school class. Part of growing up involves learning to explore ideas of religion that may differ from our own. It is also important to understand our own faith and where it fits in relation to the world around us. Even during these times of pandemic and distancing, it is vital for our youth to have access to a peer community where they can connect, question, and unpack. Our CRE team is committed to bolstering the space needed for this to happen, and we would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much for listening.
I have loved being a teacher, first in the classroom, and then as we pivoted to classroom on Zoom. One of my favorite parts is when kids or youth share their joys and concerns with each other. I believe deeply that congregations create community, and it's exciting to see them be happy for each other or show concern for each other as they share those joys and concerns. It just makes me smile when the younger kids share about their week, and they just light up because they got to see a cousin, or they ate their favorite food, or they got to go swimming. And it just is a reminder to me to really stop and tune in to the joyful things that are in my life as well.
Today, a new year begins. Thank you to all who help make CRE possible, for the seeds you plant and for the seeds you continue to nourish. We take comfort in the fact that Westside is our home.
I hope you enjoyed our time for all ages as much as I did. Seeing those photos of our children's and family makes me just miss them all the much more, wishing we could be together. Turning now to another beloved part of our service, today's joys and concerns will be shared by Christina Sellers, a member of the pastoral care team.
Good morning, everyone. As we share our joys with others, those joys are multiplied. As we share our concerns, our community can offer its care. Please post in the chat if you have a joy or concern you would like to share with everyone today and those who will watch the recording later. Joys and concerns can be submitted at any time via email to pastoralcare@westsideu.org or through the web form located in the Care and Support page of the church's website. This week's joys and concerns include a joy from Cindy Fountain. It is with joy and relief we learn that Red Fawn Follis has been released from 4 years of incarceration at the hands of criminal injustice and corporate influence over law enforcement. Red Fawn was an activist and medic in the fight to keep Keystone Pipeline from being built under life-giving water and tribal lands at Standing Rock in North Dakota. Red Fawn was imprisoned in Fort Worth at FMC Carswell for a time, and Westside supported her through donations to her commissary, letters, and helping her friend get here for a visit, and being in community with him while he was here. Westside's children created beautiful pictures for Red Fawn to keep her spirits up during her time here. We have a joy from Maddie. She wants you to know that she got her stitches out and her chin has healed well. I'm gonna show them there, see? They're all gone. We have a joy from the Maxwells. Finley turned 10 on Wednesday. She got to see many of her friends drive by to celebrate. Happy birthday, Finley. Let's see if we've got any here. We have a joy from Nikki, celebrating the in-gathering kickoff. Hang on here. With our families today. Westside UU CRE committee is full of beautiful, passionate people. That is so true. It was so fun this morning. The kids really enjoyed it. Oh, we have a happy birthday for Cadence. I believe Cadence turned 4. There it is. Yep, Cadence turned 4. Happy birthday. See if we got any more that pop up. Let's see here. Okay. Craig Bose's birthday is Friday. You know, we have one that popped up last week that I didn't read. This was a concern from Gwen Genius. My friend Honey is a Southwest Louisiana evacuee. She is in Willow Park Rehab near family. Isolation with C. diff. She's in isolation with not corona, but another virus that's contagious. So sorry to hear that, Gwen. We've got a joy. Gary Randall celebrated his 73rd birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Gary. All right, I'm not seeing any more pop up. Let's go back to this. Thank you so much for sharing those joys and concerns with us. Sharing draws our community closer together. Please know that our pastoral care associates are available to support you with deep listening and, when needed, through our InReach Fund or short-term financial support of members in need. We are here for you.
Thank you for sharing those, Christina. This morning's centering song is number 123, Spirit of Life. Please enjoy this version by the All Souls Church in Washington, D.C. If you feel moved, sing along, but if you prefer to simply listen and enjoy, that's okay too.
On the wings of this music, I invite you to join me in a time of centering. Each week here at Westside, we open our hearts to those in our community who know both joys and challenges, and to all suffering beings. I will begin with a brief pastoral introduction before we move into a time for silent reflection. At that point, I will ring a bell to start the time for your own meditation, prayer, or reflection, and I will ring the bell again at the end. I invite you to close your eyes, check the alignment of your spine as I begin with a pastoral prayer. Spirit of life and love and hope, let our hearts be full of love as we share in the joys among this community. Let our spirits reach out in compassion to all who know sorrow as well, offering a loving presence to those in pain.
And now for an important message from Karen Moore.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Moore, and I'm the leader of small group ministry here at Westside. I'd like to invite each of you to join a Soul Matters Covenant group this year. Covenant groups are a great way to connect on a deeper level with other Westsiders. Each month we meet to talk about our monthly theme and how it relates to our lives. We learn to deeply listen to one another, which enhances our personal growth and affirms our commitments to our UU principles. To sign up for a group, just click on the link that is posted on our Sunday morning service email and is also found in the forwards and afterwards that you receive each week. All our groups will be meeting via Zoom, and each group is led by 2 trained facilitators who are members of Westside. When you click on the link, you will see dates and times as well as the names of our co-leaders. I hope you'll join us for a wonderful year of learning and growing together. Thank you.
Westside has a long tradition of reaching out to the wider community in generosity. And you'll find guidance in the order of service, the chat, and in the afterward email about 3 different causes to support and how you can give. In addition to giving online through our donation webpage or mailing a check to the church, you can now use the Give Plus app available through the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. We want to thank you all who are continuing to pay toward your pledge for the church, which is keeping our mission going in this time when spiritual community and support is so needed. And now we will hear a gift of piano music from Dr. Yuki Kumamoto while members make an offering. Enjoy.
Uh-oh.
Thank you for your generosity. And now we will turn our attention to Reverend Frieda, who will share this morning's reading and reflection.
This morning's reading is Imagine by Lynn Unger. Imagine with me for a moment. Don't worry, I'm not saying it's real. Imagine if you can that has been not a calamity, but a great awakening. Pretend just for a moment that we all so loved our threatened earth that we stopped going on cruises, limited international flights, worked on cherishing the places where we already are. In this pretty fantasy, everyone who possibly can stops commuting, spends extra time with their kids or pets or garden. We have the revelation that everyone needs health care, sick leave, steady work. It occurs to us that healthcare workers are heroes, also teachers, not to mention the artists of all kinds who teach us resilience and joy. Imagine, if you will, that we turn to our neighbors in mutual aid, trading eggs for milk, checking in on those who are elderly or alone. Imagine each of us felt suddenly called to wonder, in this moment, what does the world need from me? What are my gifts? Yes, I know it's just a fantasy. The world could never change so radically overnight. But imagine. This morning's reflection is entitled An Age of Anxiety. We have so many things to be anxious about. I feel it, and I know you do too. COVID, Zoom services, reopening classrooms in the schools, the upcoming election, any ailments you currently have, and people you wish you could see in person. Complete uncertainty about how long we will be quarantined. It has helped that there are things we can do together outside. Like the fantastic parade you all put on to welcome me and Jennifer. The garden project at the church is going ahead and trees are being planted. It is possible to do outdoor activities like kayaking, paddleboarding, biking, and walking while remaining socially distanced. I've been able to contact people old school via telephone calls. Small gatherings of friends and family with masks and distancing are better than nothing. Masks allow us to visit many small businesses and do things that almost seem like normal business. Some of us are afraid to go to grocery stores, especially if we are in the high risk category. The closest we've come to worship services is the Sunday Zoom service, where we are not together, but we are able to see one another. The fact that you come to these services in such large numbers indicates to me how important they are to you. But are we able to enjoy ourselves during this time of COVID? There will always be the illnesses and accidents that cause us suffering. We can't get away from being human and susceptible to all kinds of hurt. Even as we are hurting, we can find opportunities for joy and humor in our circumstances. Pema Chödrön is an American Buddhist nun whose books are very inspiring. The one that is the most popular, and you may have heard of, is When Things Fall Apart. She teaches about the lessons in our experiences of fear, especially fear of the unknown. Almost 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I don't think any other experience has been more shocking to me. Never had I thought that I would get cancer. It just seemed out of the realm of possibility. I know that sounds absurd, and it is absurd. Anyone can get cancer. I don't think I heard much of what my oncologist said about the disease and its treatment. I was so numb. Underneath the numbness was stark fear. I started to get in touch with the fear the night before I was to start chemotherapy. That was when it started to get real, as they say. My only reference for chemo was a movie made in the early 60s about very early chemo treatments that had no remedies for the side effects. People with cancer died a very painful death with no hope for a cure. The knowledge that was gained through, though, by doctors who prescribed those awful treatments made it possible to create new treatments that worked and made their side effects bearable. Eventually, this made it possible for me and others to receive chemotherapy that was successful in treating some cancers, and my type of lymphoma was one of those. I was aware that I was standing on the shoulders of those brave souls who were willing to try those early attempts at a cure. I felt and feel a kinship with them, and that helped me. Pema Chödrön wrote that when she joined a Buddhist abbey, she discovered that, quote, I had been living in some kind of misunderstanding. It wasn't that I didn't have good qualities. It was just that I was not the ultimate golden girl. In some respects, COVID-19 and all that is required of us has brought out our own misunderstandings of life. How many of you have had a kind of surrealistic experience of feeling that this is not the life you were supposed to have? We were on a trajectory that was very different than where we are now. We were supposed to be growing our church or spending our retirement with grandchildren, or be able to move around the country and the world freely, go on vacation, go to movies and parties, visit people face to face, participate in social action, and so on. We in no way believed that we would be so hamstrung by the pandemic. I asked one of your leaders, what does this church need now? She said, we need hope. You need to feel that there is a bright future ahead. And the fact is that there is a bright future to be had. The upcoming election will hopefully produce a bright positive results, and the virus, though it won't go away entirely, will eventually be manageable if we stay true to the science and to our values. I think what we really fear is that we've lost the things that made our lives comfortable and gave us a positive sense of who we are, a sense that covered up the painful things, the things we'd rather not know about ourselves. Maybe before we were able to ignore these things or escape in various ways, but the virus has cut us off from certain avenues. Life can do that even without the virus putting added pressure on us. We started a new job, for example, and it requires more of us than we ever had to do before. We could avoid that moment of truth and keep our old bad habits, or we can begin to live with more courage and, quote, dig in, unquote, to the new experience. I would say that community is an antidote to anxiety. When we realize we are not alone, that others are experiencing much the same thing, we feel a connection that can sustain us even through many troubles. We are in community with the whole world during this pandemic. The great poet Pablo Neruda tells us a story that illustrates the value of strangers and unexpected gifts. He wrote, quote, one time, investigating in the backyard of our house, the tiny objects and minuscule beings of my world, I came upon a hole in one of the boards of the fence. I looked through the hole and saw a landscape like that behind our house, uncared for and wild. I moved back a few steps because I sensed vaguely that something was about to happen. All of a sudden, a hand appeared, a tiny hand of a boy about my own age. By the time I came close again, the hand was gone, and in its place, there was a marvelous white sheep. The sheep's wool was faded. Its wheels had escaped. All of this only made it more authentic. I had never seen such a wonderful sheep. I looked back through the hole, but the boy had disappeared. I went into the house and brought out a treasure of my own, a pine cone, opened, full of odor and resin, which I adored. I set it down in the same spot and went off with the sheep. I never saw either the hand or the boy again. He goes on to say, I have been a lucky man. To feel the intimacy of brothers is a marvelous thing in life. To feel the love of people whom we love is a fire that feeds our life. But to feel the affection that comes from those whom we do not know, from those unknown to us, who are watching over our sleep and solitude, over our dangers and our weaknesses, that is something still greater and more beautiful, because it widens out the boundaries of our being and unites us to all living things. That exchange brought home to me for the first time a precious idea idea that all humanity is somehow together. That experience came against a background of trouble and persecution. He says, it won't surprise you then that I have attempted to give something resiny, earth-like, and fragrant in exchange for human brotherhood. Just as I left the pine cone by the fence, I have since left my words on the door of so many people who are unknown to me, people in prison or hunted or alone. That is the great lesson I learned in my childhood, in the backyard of a lonely house. Maybe this small and mysterious exchange of gifts remained inside of me, also deep and indestructible, giving my poetry light, unquote. Reading the writings of those who see beyond our suffering helps also. Mary Oliver tells us how she wants to be known when she dies. She says, I want to be a bride married to amazement. I want to be a bridegroom who takes the world into his arms. Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh gives us this poem that helps us understand the nature and connection between joy and sorrow. It is called, Please Call Me by My True Names. Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today, I'm still arriving. Look deeply. Every second, I'm still arriving. To be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel, it's hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that is alive. I am the mayfly metamorphosing on the surface of a river, and I am the bird that swoops down to swallow the mayfly. I am a frog swimming happily in the clear water of a pond, and I am the grass snake that silently feeds itself on the frog. I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks. And I am the arms of the merchant. I am the arms merchant, selling deadly weapons to Uganda. I am the 12-year-old girl, refugee on a small boat, who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not capable of seeing and loving. I am a member of the Politburo with plenty of power in my hands. And I am the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people, dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom all over the earth. My pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills the 4 oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and laughter at once, so I can see that my joy and my pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up and the door of my heart could be left open, the door of compassion. The most important compassion right now is compassion for yourself. Don't forget to acknowledge your own pain, even as you're aware of the pain of others. Your anxiety is real and reflects real danger in our lives. Your joy and laughter are real as well. And it reflects the love you bring to your life. Lynn Unger asks, in this moment, what does the world need from me? What are your gifts? It definitely needs your joy and laughter and your discernment, not to reject those you don't agree with, but to see where your compassion will do the most good. Start with yourself and go from there. May it be so. I invite you to join me in singing our closing hymn, number 305, De Colaris, brought to us from the Community Church of Chapel Hill. words are from Barbara Hamilton Hallway. Go now in peace. Deeply regard each other. Truly listen to each other. Speak what each must speak. Be ready in every moment to disarm your own heart. Rejoice in this love you have begun. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Frieda. As we extinguish our chalices across the country this morning, please join one of our youth chants Womack in the congregational clothing.
Let us go in peace, believe in peace, and create peace in our lives and in the world.